We've heard from Jose Mourinho. He's been there, he's done that. What about the up-and-coming manager, the Blues manager? Frank Lampard is with Alison Bender.
Frank, are you happy with the point, or did it feel a missed opportunity considering Chelsea probably had the better of the opportunities?
Yeah, we had the better of the opportunities. We played well against a team that are very tough. We understood what the game was going to look like. It went as we thought it would go in terms of a medium to low block for Tottenham, the threat of the counter-attack there, but we controlled big parts of it. I think we created enough chances to score the goal to win the game, but we have to probably lean on the side of being happy with a clean sheet. If we're not going to score, we have to make sure we don't lose against a team with Tottenham's attributes. So I won't say I'm happy. I thought we should have won the game, but it's a point.
You lacked a bit of clinical finishing from several of your players. Was it just one of those days?
Maybe, yeah, and I can't complain too much of our finishing this season. We've been clinical in games, we've been scoring goals regularly. The way Tottenham defend, they make it difficult for you to go through them. You have to go round them and try and get crosses into the box. We did that quite a bit. And as I say, I thought we created enough. But with the quality players we have in forward areas, I think another day we might be able to do even more. But the other 75-80% of our performance in terms of our build-up and our strength in transition and stopping them getting the counter-attacks that they want and wait for, I thought was great.
I mean, Werner has had a few games where he's missed a few chances, but he saw the back of the net perfectly. Unfortunately, he was offside.
Yeah, shame, because it was a great break. Mason makes the pass, and it was typically, as we know with VAR, it was not much in it, and he hits a great finish. But that is the game. It was offside.
Frank, we're seeing a lot of offsides this season. Do you think that with VAR there needs to be a little bit more margin for error? Do you think that we need to favour the attacker a little more, like clear daylight, for example?
I actually don't. I don't. I think the one part of VAR which should remain clear cut, if it is because it's the one that you can get as right as possible. I think that's the one. Even if it is, if you ask for a margin of error for the side of the attacker, how much are you going to give them? Is it a toe? Is it a foot? I think you start a dangerous game. I think that's the one part of VAR at the minute that's probably the best for me, even if it doesn't quite go for you.
There was a little bit of frustration from the bench at times. I know when Reguilon went down after made contact with Reece James. What did you make of that and some of the other decisions that went Spurs' way?
I thought that one in particular was an overreaction, and there were a lot of shouting, and we got too many yellow cards. I thought maybe we could have. It's normal to get a couple of yellow cards, but they were being handed out a lot. Yeah, that was an overreaction, but it's a derby. It's a big game. It's rivalry, so I understand that that's the smallest part of the game for me today. That wasn't an issue. It was just us trying to win a game of football, and it didn't quite happen for us. Thank you.
Thanks, to Alison Bender. Chelsea's title aspirations. They're doing phenomenally well where they are in the table, and there were so many pundits leading up to the start of this season, and even at the start of the season, who said if Chelsea would address the defensive issues, then they would be genuine title contenders. Now we're at a stage where Mendy has kept more clean sheets than any other keeper in the division, and he started the competition later than all the other keepers did. And Thiago Silva, you were bigging him up before the start of the show and a bit at half-time as well, Chris. They have outscored every other team bar Liverpool so far. Only Spurs have conceded fewer goals. Yet you put City as your favourites, like you mentioned earlier, for the title. Why not Chelsea?
Because you can only choose one, Adam. I don't know whether you understand that concept.
But can't you change? Can't you change your decision?
I can change, and do you know what? I get exactly what you're saying, and I think you made some very, very good points about Mendy, of course. I mean, what's good about watching Chelsea now, from a Chelsea fan's point of view, is you don't feel that they're going to concede soft goals. You feel now Silva has come in, a real figure of authority at the back, gives them leadership. You know, Harry Kane, we've bigged him up all season, and Son quite rightly so, but they barely got a look in today. So that's a massive positive. And there's a narrative with some of the English press at the start of the season about Frank's ability to coach, being a defensive coach, if you like. And I think he's, made a point, and they're looking extremely steely. We've talked about the firepower, and I don't think they've clicked just at this moment in time. But you only have to look at the bench. Pulisic, who's a fine player, Havertz. They do have strength in depth, and that's what they have over Spurs. So I would tip at this stage Chelsea to finish higher than Spurs this season. But at the start of the season, my top two was Manchester City and Liverpool. I think I had Chelsea third.
Do you still stand by that? They've scored 22 goals. Manchester City have scored 15. so far this season.
Well, yeah, but Manchester City are in form. They thumped Burnley yesterday. Having said that,
aren't Chelsea in form?
I think us three could have thumped Burnley the way they played yesterday.
But the two longest unbeaten runs right now are Tottenham and Chelsea.
Yeah, and look, I get it all. I think Manchester City haven't even got started. It's so congested at the top of the table. Look, as Gary said, it wouldn't be like an unbelievable surprise if Chelsea, if Spurs, or if Leicester won the league in this season, which is, the nature of what it is, the congested fixture list. It could happen. But at the start of the season, as pundits, we have to make predictions. And I haven't changed once yet, Adam.
Gary.
And just to add to, this is how close it is at the top. So we got two teams at the top on the same number of points, 21 points. If Leicester win their game in hand, they go on 21 points as well. Manchester United are 5 points behind the top two at the moment with a game in hand. If they win that, they're 2 points behind. City are 6 points behind the leaders with a game in hand. If they win that, they're 3 behind the leaders. It's just ridiculously tight and still ridiculously early in the season. I've still got my league table that I drew up from before the start of the season and before the transfer window obviously had closed as well. I'm looking at some of them and I'm thinking, well, I'm miles out there, but definitely the top two I'm still pretty much sticking with, which was Liverpool and Man City. Yeah, of course, the other clubs that I've just mentioned are a real threat. I think Chelsea look extremely good. They've solved the keeper problem. They brought in more firepower. N'Golo Kante's playing in that central holding position. Yeah. They've got a great centre half in Silva. That's improved Zuma. Of course, Chelsea are a threat.
Chilwell's come in and, he's an upgrade, isn't he, on Alonso?
Yeah,
they're improving. The pressure's on for Chelsea this season, no doubt, because whatever we want to think about last season, they had the embargo. Frank wasn't under so much pressure. When you spend, 240 million, the pressure's on to win trophies. And I think Frank knows that. And was Abramovich's 1,000th game in charge, I think it was today.
Yes.
And he's demanding, isn't he? There's not many Chelsea managers who would go a couple of seasons without winning anything, without getting the chop. So Frank knows he has to produce a trophy of some sort this season.
Well, SuperSport's SAS, Stevens and Sutton, stubborn. One word to describe the both of you when it comes to changing your minds about who's going to win the title. We're going to go for
There are other S's as well you could describe us with.
There are, but I can't say it on TV, sadly.
And the problem is, if we changed our minds, you would accuse us of changing our minds, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I would say that you're stirring debate. That's all it is.